Hey, what's up everyone? It's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for coming by and getting ready to enjoy this next chapter of One of Us is Lying. In today's video, we are going to go into part 1 of chapter 24, obviously, of One of Us is Lying. So let's get right into this video. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, please click off of the video now. You have been warned. Nate, Thursday, October 25th, 12:20 a.m. I ease my motorcycle into a cul-de-sac at the end of Bayview Estates and kill the motor, staying still for a minute to check for any hint that somebody's nearby. It's quiet, so I climb off and give a hand to Browen so she can do the same. The neighborhood is still half-finished construction area with no street lights, so Browen and I walk in the darkness to house number 5. When we get there, I try the front door, but it's locked. We circle to the back of the house, and I jiggle each window until I find one that opens. It's low enough to the ground that I haul myself in easily. Go back out front. I'll let you in, I say in a low voice. I think I can do it too, Browen says, preparing to pull herself up. She doesn't have the arm strength, though, and I have to lean over and help her. The window's not big enough for her, too, and when I let go and step back to give her room, she scrambles the rest of the way and lands on the floor with a thud. Graceful, I say, as she gets to her feet and brushes off her jeans. Shut up, she mutters, looking around. Should we unlock the front for Addie and Cooper? We're in an empty, under construction house after midnight for a meeting for the Bayview 4. It's like a bad spy movie, but there's no way all of us could get together anywhere else without drawing too much attention. Even my don't give a crap neighbors are suddenly in my business now that Mike Hal Powers' team keeps cruising down our street, plus Browen's still grounded. Yeah, I say, and we feel our way through a half-built kitchen and into a living room with a huge bay window. The moonlight streams bright across the door, and I twist its deadbolt open. What time did you tell them? 12:30, she says, pressing a button on her Apple Watch. What time is it? 12:25. Good, we have 5 minutes. I slide my hand along the side of her face and back her up against the wall, pulling her lips to mine. She leans into me and wraps her arms around my neck, opening her mouth with a soft sigh. My hands travel down the curve of her waist to her hips, finding a strip of bare skin under the hem of her shirt. Browen has this unbelievable stealth body under all of her conservative clothes, although I've barely gotten to see any of it. Nate, she whispers after a few minutes, in that breathless voice that drives me wild. You were going to tell me how things went with your mom. Yeah, I guess I was. I saw my mother again this afternoon, and it was all right. She showed up on time and sober. She backed off asking questions and gave me money for bills, but I spent the whole time taking bets with myself on how long it'd last. Current odds say 2 weeks. Before I can answer, though, the door creaks and we're not alone anymore. A small figure slips inside and shuts the door behind her. The moonlight's bright enough that I can see Addie clearly, including the unexpected dark streaks in her hair. Oh, good. I'm not the first one, she whispers. Then she puts her hands on her hips as she glares at Browen and me. Are you two making out? Seriously? Did you dye your hair? Browen counters, pulling away from me. What color is that? She reaches a hand out and examines Addie's bangs. Purple. I like it. Why the change? I can't keep up with the maintenance requirements of short hair, Addie grumbles, dropping a bike helmet on the floor. It doesn't look as bad with color mixed in. She cocks her head at me and adds, I don't see your commentary if you disagree, by the way. I hold my hands up. Wasn't going to say a word, Addie. When did you even start knowing my name? She deadpans. I grin at her. You've gotten kind of feisty since you lost all the hair and the boyfriend. She rolls her eyes. Where are we doing this? Living room? Yeah, but back corner away from the window, Browen says, picking her way through construction supplies and sitting cross-legged in front of a stone fireplace. I sprawl next to her and wait for Addie to follow, but she's still poised near the door. I think I hear something, she says, peering through the peephole. She opens the door a crack and steps aside to let Cooper in. Addie leads him toward the fireplace, but nearly goes flying when she trips on an extension cord. Ow, damn it. That was loud, sorry. She settles herself next to Browen and Cooper sits beside her. How are things, Browen asks Cooper. He rubs a hand over his face. Oh, you know, living the nightmare. My father won't talk to me. I'm getting torn apart on mine, and none of the teams that were scouting me will return Coach Ruffalo's calls. Other than that, I'm great. I'm so sorry, Browen says, and Addie grabs his hand and folds it in both of hers. He heaves a sigh, but doesn't pull away. It is what it is, I guess. Let's just get to why we're here, huh? Browen clears her throat, well, mainly to compare notes. Eli kept talking about looking for patterns and connections, which makes a lot of sense. I thought maybe we could go through some of the things we know and don't know. She frowns and starts ticking things off of her fingers. Simon was about to post some pretty shocking things about all of us. Somebody got us into that room together with the fake cell phones. Simon was poisoned while we were there. Lots of people besides us had reasons to be mad at Simon. He was mixed up in all kinds of creepy 4chan stuff. Who knows what kind of people he's pissed off. Janae says he hated being an outsider and he was really upset nothing more ever happened with Keely. Addie says, looking at Cooper, do you remember that? He started hitting on her during junior prom, and she caved at a party a couple weeks later and hooked up with him for like 5 minutes. He thought it was actually going to go somewhere. Cooper hunches his shoulders like he's remembering something he'd rather not. Right, huh? I guess that's a pattern or a connection or whatever. With me and Nate, I don't get it. What? He meets my eyes. When I broke up with Keely, she told me she hooked up with you at a party to get rid of Simon, and I asked her a couple of weeks after, you and Keely? Addie stares at me. She never said. It was just a couple of times, honestly. I've forgotten all about it. And you're good friends with Keely, or you were, Browen? Says Addie. She doesn't seem fazed by the idea of Keely and me getting together, and I have to appreciate how she doesn't lose focus, but I have nothing to do with her, so I don't know. Does that mean something or doesn't it? I don't see how it could, Cooper says. Nobody except Simon cared what happened between him and Keely. Keely might have, Browen points out. Cooper stifles a laugh. You can't think Keely had anything to do with this. We're freewheeling here, Browen says, leaning forward and propping her chin in her head. She's a common thread, yeah, but Keely has zero motive for anything. Shouldn't we be talking about people who hated Simon besides you? Cooper asks, and Browen goes rigid. For that blog post he wrote about your sister, Addie told me about it. That was low, really low. I never saw it the first time around. I'd have said something if I did. Well, I didn't kill him for it, Browen says tightly. I'm not saying, Cooper starts, but Addie interrupts. Let's stay on track. What about Leah or even Aiden Wu? You can't tell me that they wouldn't have liked revenge. Browen swallows and lowers her eyes. I wonder about Leah too. I have a connection to her I haven't told you guys about. She and I were partners in Model UN competition by mistake, and Simon told a wrong deadline. We told Simon a wrong deadline that got him disqualified. He started torturing Leah on about that right after. Browen's told me this actually, and it's been eating at her for a while, but it's news to Cooper and Addie who starts bobbing her head. So Leah's got a reason to hate Simon and be mad at you. Then she frowns. But what about the rest of us? Why drag us along? I shrug. Maybe we were just the secret Simon had on hand. Collateral damage? Browen sighs. I don't know. Leah's hot-headed, but not exactly sneaky. I'm more confused about Janae's deal. She turns toward Addie. One of the strangest things about the Tumblr is how many details it got right. You'd almost have to be one of us to know that stuff or spend a lot of time with us. Don't you think it's weird that Janae hangs out with us even though we're accused of killing her best friend? Well, to be fair, I did invite her, Addie says, but she's been awfully skittish lately, and did you guys notice she and Simon weren't together as much as usual right before he died? I keep wondering if something happened between them. She leans back and chews on her bottom lip. I suppose if anybody would have known what secrets Simon was about to spill and how to use them, it'd be Janae. I don't know, you guys. I'm not sure Janae's got it in her to do something like this. Maybe Simon rejected her and she killed him? Cooper looks doubtful before he finishes the sentence. Don't see how, though. She wasn't there. Browen shrugs. We don't know that for sure. When I talked to Eli, he kept saying somebody could have planned the car accident as a distraction to slip into the room. If you take that as a possibility, anyone could have done it. I made fun of Browen when she first brought that up, but I don't know. I wish I could remember more about the day so that they could say for sure whether it's even possible. The whole thing, it's turned into a blur. One of the cars was a red Camaro, Cooper recalls. Looked ancient. I don't remember ever seeing it in the parking lot before, or since, which is weird when you think about it. Oh, come on, Addie scoffs. That's so far-fetched. Sounds like a lawyer with a guilty client grasping at straws. Someone new was probably just picking up a kid that day. Maybe, Cooper says. I don't know. Lewis's brother works in a repair place downtown. Maybe I'll ask him if a car like that comes through, or if he can check with some other shops. He holds up a hand at Addie's raised brows. Hey, you're not the police's favorite new person of interest, okay? I'm desperate here. We're not getting anywhere with this conversation, but I'm struck by a couple of things as I listen to them talk. One, I like all of them more than I thought I would. Browen's obviously been the biggest surprise, and Mike doesn't cover it, but Addie's turned into kind of a badass, and Cooper's not as one-dimensional as I thought. And 2, I don't think any of them did it. That is the end of part 1 of chapter 24. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!